Premier Ford and his Health Minister Christine Elliott tested negative for COVID-19 after concerns were raised yesterday they may have been exposed. And as you referenced, Doug Ford had some welcome news for families who have been desperate to visit their loved ones in long-term care. After 3 months, they'll soon be able to see them again, but there are conditions.
It's been awful. I listen to my mother on the phone and she's tortured every day. She misses her family. It's awful for us, and it's awful for my mother. It's just horrendous for everybody. It's 3 months. My mother looked forward to us visiting her every single day.
Cindy Samolsky's 98-year-old mother, Dorothy, is legally blind. She worries she sits alone in her Scarborough long-term care room all day, and that social isolation has been a bigger threat to her well-being than COVID-19.
There's more bad days now than good days. She's just so lonely. She's so very lonely.
Thousands of families have not been able to visit their loved ones since mid-March, but that is about to change. As of June 18th, they'll be allowed outside visits once a week, as long as they've been tested for COVID-19 in the past 2 weeks, wear a mask, and the home is not an outbreak.
We can't forget that these settings are still vulnerable to COVID-19 outbreaks, so we must remain vigilant.
The government has grappled with finding the balance of allowing visits versus the fear of COVID-19 sweeping through long-term care homes again. There are currently 65 out of the 600-plus homes in outbreak, down from the peak of 190 in mid-May. 10 are still considered to be in high risk. The Ford government had to call in the armed forces for assistance. The military then wrote a scathing report detailing horrific conditions and the treatment of elderly residents. Just this week, investigators were sent into a Woodbridge facility after an 82-year-old man reportedly died of malnutrition.
Do you think your government failed to react quickly enough to put more in place to protect these vulnerable seniors?
No, we didn't fail. We've thrown everything we can, every tool we had at these long-term care homes. And if it was just, Ontario, nowhere else around Canada or North America or the world.
Cindy's biggest fear now is that there will be a second wave in the fall and they'll have to go through this all over again. She doesn't think once-a-week visits are nearly enough, but they are something.
It's a small start. It is good. I can at least give my mother a little bit of hope.
Now, Cindy would really like to be able to be one of her mother's caregivers. The government says that's not going to happen just yet. And close to 1,800 vulnerable seniors have died in long-term care, 71% of all the province's COVID deaths. Family members will have to schedule their visits, which may have time limits that cannot be less than 30 minutes. Retirement homes and homes for people with developmental disabilities will also be able to have visitors.